Welcome, everyone. We're doing another deep dive, this time looking at the PortalFuse Weekly Security Report covering April 23rd to the 29th, 2025.
That's right. And for all you managing Microsoft Intune environments out there, you know how relentless the update cycle is.
It really is. So our plan today is pretty simple. Just pull out the absolute must-know stuff from this report, the things demanding attention right now if you're an Intune admin. Save you some time.
Exactly. We'll focus on a specific Windows NTLM vulnerability that surfaced, and also touch on a couple of Windows 11 known issues, one resolved, one still active.
Okay, sounds good. Let's jump right into that security vulnerability then.
Okay, so the report flags CVE 2025-24054. It's described as an NTLM hash disclosure spoofing vulnerability in Windows.
NTLM spoofing.
Okay.
For those of us dealing with authentication day in, day out, NTLM is obviously familiar ground. But what's the specific mechanism here? How does this vulnerability actually work?
Well, CVE 2025-24054 really comes down to how Windows NTLM processes certain network paths and, file names. An attacker, someone unauthorized, can exploit this by crafting malicious inputs in those specific areas.
And if they manage that successfully?
They could potentially trick the system into giving up sensitive NTLM hashes. What's particularly concerning is how easy it seems to be to exploit.
Easy as in you don't need some super complex attack chain.
Pretty much. The report rates the attack complexity as low, and it requires, minimal user interaction.
Minimal how?
A user might just need to select or maybe even just hover over or inspect a specially crafted file that's presented over the network. That could be enough.
Wow. So network-based low complexity.
Exactly. An attacker already on the same network segment could potentially have a fairly clear path to try this. And you know how lateral movement often works? This ease of exploitation is, well, that's a big worry.
Yeah, that definitely sounds like something that could spiral into a bigger breach. What's the potential damage if someone pulls this off?
The main risk is rated as having a high impact on confidentiality.
Confidentiality, right.
So getting hold of those NTLM hashes, and once an attacker has those, they could potentially use them to gain access to other network resources. That potential for wider compromise makes fixing it, pretty urgent.
And Microsoft has confirmed this. Is there a CVSS score to gauge the severity?
Yes, Microsoft acknowledged CVE 2025-24054. They've assigned it a CVSS score of 6.5.
6.5. Okay, so medium-high range, driven by that confidentiality impact, you figure.
That seems to be the main factor, but the important thing is Microsoft has released official fixes.
Okay, great. So for us Intune folks, priority one is deploying those patches. Which KBs are we talking about? These were released back in March, right? March 11th.
That's the ones. The key knowledge base articles are KB 5053636, KB 5053618, KB 5053660, KB 5053602, and KB 5053598. Getting those rolled out across your managed devices is the crucial step here.
So those 5 KBs from March 11th.
Got it. And just a quick note, there was a revision to the MSRC post about this on April 25th, but it was purely informational, just an acknowledgement, no new technical details or different fixes needed beyond those March updates.
Understood. Patch for those March KBs, ASAP for CVE 2025-24054. Okay, let's pivot now to those Windows 11 node issues mentioned in the report. First one was about remote desktop freezing up.
Yeah, so the report covered an issue, which is now thankfully resolved, where RD sessions could freeze pretty soon after connecting. This was happening on Windows 11 version 24H2 devices.
When did this start?
It seemed to start after installing the January 2025 preview update that was KB 5050094 or later ones. Users were reporting the mouse and keyboard just becoming unresponsive in the RD session.
Oh, yeah, nothing worse. Disconnect and reconnect was the only way.
Often, yeah. But the good news is this was fixed.
Fixed how? Which update?
It was addressed in the February 2025 Windows preview update, KB 5053656.
Okay, KB 5053656 sorts the RD freezing, and that fix applies to Win 1124H2 clients and Windows Server 2025 too.
Correct. Both are covered by that fix.
All right, good to know that one's behind us.
Yeah.
But the report also flagged an active issue, right? Something affecting updates to Windows 11 24H2, specifically through WSUS. That sounds like it could hit a lot of organizations.
It definitely could. The issue is devices that have the April Windows monthly security update installed, starting with KB 5055528 or anything after that, they might run into problems trying to upgrade to Windows 11 24H2 if they're getting updates via WSUS.
What kind of problems? The download just fails?
It might fail to even start, or it could stall out partway through. It doesn't complete successfully.
Are there specific error codes or logs admins might see? Something concrete to look for?
Yes, the Windows Update logs might show error code 0B80240069. And digging deeper, you might find log entries saying the WowServe service, the Windows Update Agent service, has unexpectedly stopped.
Okay, error 0x8024000069 and while server stopping. And just to be clear, this is only for environments using WSUS, right? Not home users getting updates directly.
Exactly. This primarily impacts businesses, enterprise setups using WSUS for update management. Home users pulling from Windows Update shouldn't see this specific issue. Microsoft is currently investigating this one.
Right, investigation ongoing. And which Windows 11 versions are potentially hitting this WSUS snag when trying to get to 24H2?
The report points to client devices running Windows 11 version 23H2 and also version 22H2.
So 23H2 and 22H2 clients trying to get to 24H2 via WSUS after the April update. Any server platforms affected?
No. Currently, no server platforms are listed as being affected by this specific WSUS update issue for Win 11 24H2.
Okay, good to know. So let's just quickly wrap up the key takeaways for Intune admins from this report.
Sure. So number one priority, deal with that NTLM spoofing vulnerability, CVE-2025-24054. That means deploying those March 2025 security updates immediately.
Right, those KBs again were KB50536636, KB50536606, KB50536602, and KB50535598.
Exactly. Get those out everywhere. Second, if you manage Windows 11 24H2 deployments using WSUS in your enterprise environment, you need to keep a close eye on that ongoing update issue.
Monitor for updates from Microsoft on that one.
Definitely. Watch for further communications or, hopefully a fix soon. Staying informed is really crucial, as always.
Absolutely. It's a constantly moving target, keeping endpoints secure and up to date. Thanks for breaking that down.
You're welcome. Always something new in the Microsoft world.